When it gives up hope of misleading you in these matters, it will try to seduce you in respect to the duty of serving the Creator. It will say to you that a being serves another being, when the latter needs the former's services. Since the Creator, may he be exalted, does not need his creatures and does not require their works, your service to him is meaningless and pointless. If, however, you contemplate in your mind what we discussed in the gate of reflection on God's favors towards us, and what we discussed in the gate on the corresponding obligation to assume the service of God, this question will be resolved, and you will take upon yourself God's service. When it gives up hope of seducing you in these matters, it will try to raise doubts in your mind about prophecy, the prophets, the Torah and the Torah's authenticity and necessity. If, however, you oppose it with the aid of your intellect and fight it with the arguments mentioned earlier in the third gate of this book, all these doubts will be dispelled from your heart. You will understand the meaning of prophecy, the necessity for the imposition out the Torah, the prophet's mission in it, and the ways of inspiration to it. When it gives up hope of misleading you in this matter, it will try to make you doubt the tradition. It will say to you that what reason prescribes in what is written in Scripture are true, but what our masters of blessed memory taught is not essential, and its acceptance is not duty. But if you contemplate the matter, you will see that what reason prescribes, as well as what is written in Scripture, are both greatly in need of tradition, for without the tradition, neither of them can be properly fulfilled. As for what reason prescribes, if the tradition has not done fine for us, their application in respect to quantity and quality, time and place, and other circumstances, our minds alone could not have grasped it. The same is true with respect to Scripture. If the tradition has not clarified for us the way it should be read, the meaning of its language, and explanation of its themes, and their implications, we could not have grasped this from Scripture alone. As our masters of blessed memory said, the Torah is interpreted by means of 13 principles. The Mesorah, oral tradition, is a fence for the Torah. Moreover, the Torah itself refers us to the oral tradition for an understanding of the details and the application of its laws. As it is written, if a case should prove too difficult for you in judgment, matters of dispute in your courts, that you should arise and go up, and you should come to the Levitical Kohanim and to the judge that will be in those days, and submit an inquiry, and they will tell you the legal decision. The man who acts brazenly and does not listen to the Kohen, that man shall die. When you understand all this, the doubt will end, and you will be certain of the knowledge gained from reason, Scripture, and tradition. When it gives up hope of seducing you in these ways, it will try to do so in regard to reward and punishment. First, it will try to make you doubt reward and punishment in this world. It will say, if reward and punishment were meted out in just fashion, the wicked would not prosper, and the righteous would not suffer affliction, a claim we have mentioned previously in the fourth gate of this book. But when the intellect reveals to you the ways of justice in both these cases, as already mentioned in the gate of trust of God, this doubt will disappear, and your heart will be relieved of its confusion. When the evil inclination gives up hope of overcoming us in this fashion, it will try to make us doubt reward and punishment in the world to come. It will attempt to confound and confuse us on how little this matter is explained, and how little indication there is of it in the Chumash. However, when we consider what is written of this matter in the books of the other prophets, and the Spirit will return to God who gave it, I will let you walk among those who stand here. How great is your good, that you have hidden away for those who fear you. No eye has seen, O God, beside yours what God has prepared for those that wait for him. Your righteousness will go before you. The glory of God will gather you up. And there are many other passages like these, together with what our masters of blessed memory have taught of it, and what can be grasped of it by the intellect. Our souls will be calmed and convinced of the clear inevitability of reward and punishment in the world to come. When the evil inclination despairs of raising doubts in our minds about all that has been mentioned, it will try to make us lazy in the practice of God's service and preoccupy us with our worldly interests, eating, drinking, dressing and riding, and enjoyment of the various bodily pleasures. If we listen to it and respect the food, without which we cannot live, the evil inclination will make superfluous luxuries appear attractive to us, and endear to us frivolity and pleasure, so that we envy kings and their ministers, and wish to emulate them, adopt their customs, and follow their practices in pursuit of pleasures. When it sees that we are willing and eager to do so, it will say, "Gird your loins, bear your arm, O easily misled man, strive with all your strength, O beguiled human being, to serve the world and its people. Maybe then you will attain some of your desires in it. Do not perform any deed for the next world, unless it is advantageous to you in this world, and makes you popular with its people and leaders, with both the rulers and the common folk. Do not apply your mind to any field of study, unless it brings you honor from your contemporaries, and wins you the esteem of the notables of your time. Prince, officer, captain, or anyone who occupies a high position. Studies worth cultivating are the knowledge of language, the essentials of prosody, the principles of grammar and poetry. Learn charming riddles, profound parables, and exotic speech. Frequent the company of fine speakers. Learn to communicate with all classes of people. Do not be silent, so as not to be considered a simpleton and a fool. Ignore the other studies, for they demand much effort and offer little advantage. But if, from the first, we do not open the door to these passions, and do not gratify the desire to indulge in luxuries and pursue them, if we answer the evil inclination that superfluities are not needed, the thought we must devote to our livelihood is distraction enough, and that, if God should provide us with superfluities without distraction or diversion to us, we will use them on the proper way, as we should. But if He does not so provide us, we will make do with the basics and need nothing else. Then the evil inclination will be broken and defeated. But if we listen to it in these things, we will descend, step by step, until it leads us to destruction, in this world and the next. The above are examples of the first kind of temptation, by which the evil inclination induces doubt in a person, if he is weak in wisdom and in knowledge of God and His Torah. But if a person is proficient in knowledge of God and His Torah, the evil inclination will try to bring ruin upon him, and to introduce error into his thinking and practice, by way of objections or arguments from any available source, reason, scripture, or tradition. The evil inclination will support its arguments with fantastic proofs, in which the premises are not true, and the conclusions do not necessarily follow. If you can think clearly, and have a strong grasp of the art of demonstration, and the methods of defending a position, in the course of a debate or disputation, you will catch the various flaws in the arguments and proofs of your evil inclination. The truth will become clear to you, the right view will be obvious to you, and your thought and practice will be free of doubt and confusion.